My name is Alina, and this is a story of how jealousy destroyed the peace in my family. It all began the day I told everyone I was pregnant. For me, it was the happiest moment of my life. I had dreamed of becoming a mother for years. When the doctor confirmed the news, I cried softly, holding the small picture of a tiny life growing inside me. My husband, Ayan, hugged me with so much love that my heart felt full. But not everyone was happy. My older sister, Zara, reacted differently. At first, she forced a smile. She hugged me, but her arms felt stiff. Her eyes did not shine with joy. She only said, "Oh, congratulations," in a small, unsure voice. I didn't think much of it that day. But slowly, I began to notice the change. Every time I entered the room, Zara stopped talking. When I touched my stomach, her face tightened. She watched me with a strange, cold expression, as if every part of my happiness hurt her. One afternoon, when our whole family was gathered for tea, she suddenly asked, "Alina, are you sure the baby is Ayan's?" Her voice was calm but sharp like a knife. The room fell silent. My heart dropped. My hands shook. "What?" I whispered, confused and shocked. Zara shrugged, pretending to speak casually. "I'm just asking. You've been going out a lot lately. People notice things." I felt the world spin around me. I had never betrayed my husband. I had never even thought about such a thing. How could my own sister say something so hurtful? Ayan stood up angrily. "Stop it, Zara. This is disgusting." But Zara didn't stop. Instead, she said louder, "You don't know your own wife like I know her." My mother tried to calm her. "Zara, that's enough." But she kept going. "She's hiding something. I can feel it." I stared at her in disbelief. Why was she doing this? Why was she attacking me? Why now, when I needed love and peace? Zara stormed out, leaving the whole family in shock. I tried to hold back tears, but they fell anyway. I held my hand. "Don't listen to her. She's upset about something else." But deep inside, I knew this wasn't about something else. Something darker was happening. Something dangerous. Over the next days, Zara became even worse. She started watching me whenever I walked. She asked strange questions like, "Where were you? Who were you with? Why are you hiding your phone?" I wasn't hiding anything. I was just tired and pregnant. But Zara's jealousy was growing like a fire she could no longer control. One evening, I went to visit my parents' house. Zara was already there. When she saw me, her eyes scanned my belly as if she was looking for proof of her wild idea. She whispered under her breath, "That child is not his." "I know it." I felt the tears coming again, but I stayed quiet. I didn't want to fight. I just wanted peace. But peace was not coming. Because Zara's mind was full of fear. Fear that her husband looked at me. Fear that I had something she didn't. Fear that my happiness meant something about her sadness. And fear can make people do terrible things. I didn't know it then. But her jealousy would soon go too far. Much further than I ever imagined. It would happen on the stairs. In one shocking moment. A moment that changed everything. But before that, there were signs. Small, painful signs that she was losing control. Signs I wish I had understood earlier. Because sometimes the people who hurt you the most are the ones who are supposed to love you the most. After that painful family gathering, things only became worse. Zara stopped pretending to be polite. She didn't smile. She didn't talk to me normally. Instead, she watched me closely, like I had done something terrible to her. Sometimes I caught her looking at my stomach with a strange mix of anger and fear. Other times, she looked at my husband, Ayan, as if searching for something. Guilt, a secret, a lie. There was nothing. No secret. No reason. Nothing except a dark thought that had grown inside her heart. One morning, I went to the kitchen to make tea. Zara was standing there, staring at the window. When she heard my steps, she turned suddenly. Her eyes moved to my belly. "How far along are you now?" she asked. 3 months, I replied softly. She crossed her arms. "And who is the father?" My breath stopped. "Zara," I whispered, "why are you saying this?" She stepped closer. "Because I know you're lying. I know that baby isn't Ayan's." My hand shook so hard I almost dropped the teacup. "Zara, please, this is not true," I said, trying to stay calm. But she wasn't listening. Her mind was locked in jealousy and fear. You think I don't see the way he defends you? She snapped. You think I don't notice how close he stands to you? How he talks to you? I stared at her with pain. Ayan is my husband, I said. That's the only reason he stands close to me. But jealousy doesn't understand logic. Jealousy only understands fear. She pushed past me roughly, almost knocking me off balance, and walked away. I held my stomach gently, whispering, "It's okay. Mama's here," trying to calm myself and the tiny life inside me. The next day, Ayan and I went to visit my parents again. Zara was there already, pacing around the living room, her face pale and tense. When she saw me, her eyes narrowed. "You brought him too," she said, pointing at my husband. Ayan frowned. "Zara, please stop this." But she was not stopping. She took a step toward me and said loudly, "Tell him the truth, Alina. Tell him this baby isn't his." My mother rushed between us. "Zara, enough!" But Zara's anger was growing. It was spreading like a storm inside her chest. "I know what's going on," she shouted. "I'm not stupid." I looked at her with tears in my eyes. "Zara, why would you think this of me? I'm your sister." She stared at me for a long moment, then whispered, "Because my husband avoids me, and because your life looks perfect." My heart sank. So this was the truth. This was her pain. Her marriage was falling apart, not because of me, but because of something inside her own home. But instead of facing that truth, she blamed me. I tried to hold her hand. "Zara, listen. Your husband and I have nothing." She pulled her hand away quickly. "Don't touch me," she yelled. The whole house became silent. I realized then that she wasn't just jealous. She was scared, lost, breaking inside. But people who are breaking sometimes break others too. Mom made us sit separately to calm down, but Zara left the house soon after, slamming the door. Ayan sat beside me, holding my hand. "Don't worry, Alina. She will understand one day." I nodded, but my heart felt heavy. I knew Zara wasn't done. I could feel her anger growing. Her jealousy was becoming something dangerous. That night, when I went to bed, I felt uneasy. My heart kept whispering, "Something bad is coming." And it did. On the stairs. On a day that started normal. And ended with pain I will never forget. Here is Chunk 3. A1. A2 Simple English. Female narration. Emotional. 600 words. This is the moment where jealousy becomes dangerous, but still YouTube safe. No graphic detail, only emotional impact. White medium star Chunk 3, almost equals 600 words. Female narration, emotional, simple English, the moment before the fall. For a few days, everything was strangely quiet. Too quiet, almost like the calm before a storm. Zara didn't call. She didn't message. She didn't come to our parents' house. At first, I thought maybe she finally realized she was wrong. Maybe she needed some space. Maybe she was trying to calm herself. But inside my heart, I knew the truth. She was not done. She was thinking. And her thoughts were dangerous. One Saturday afternoon, my mom invited both of us for lunch. Ayan had work, so I went alone. I was 3 months pregnant, and the walk from the gate to the house already made me tired. I placed a hand on my belly and whispered, "We're okay. Mama's here." Inside, I heard voices. My mom, my dad, and Zara. I froze for a moment. I didn't want another fight. I didn't want tears again. I just wanted peace. Still, I walked inside. Zara was standing near the dining table. When she saw me, her eyes went straight to my stomach. The same cold, sharp stare she had given me many times before. But this time, something was different. Her face wasn't just angry. It was tense, tired, almost broken. I tried to smile. "Hi, Zara." I was standing at the top of the stairs when Zara came behind me. Her steps were slow, too slow, almost silent. I turned around slightly and said softly, "Zara, please, can we not fight today?" She didn't answer. Her eyes were fixed on my stomach again. Not on me, not on my face, only on the small baby growing inside me. Her jaw tightened. Her hands curled into fists. She was breathing fast, like her anger was rising with every second. I took a small step back, nervous. "Zara, what's wrong?" I whispered. She blinked, once, slowly. Then she took one step closer. "You're lying," she said. Her voice was low, shaking, not normal. You're lying about everything. My heart started beating faster. No, Zara. You are, she shouted, cutting me off. Her voice echoed through the hallway. I placed a hand on my belly protectively. Please stop. Nothing happened between me and your husband. The baby is Ion's. I swear it, Zara. But she wasn't listening. Tears filled her eyes, but they were not soft tears. They were tears of fear, of insecurity, of a woman who felt lost inside her own marriage. You think I don't see how men look at you? She whispered angrily. You think I don't notice the way he avoids me these days? He doesn't love me, Alina. And now you have this. She pointed at my belly. I stepped back again. Zara, please. But her pain was stronger than my words. You stole everything from me, she cried. I shook my head quickly. No, I did not. And then, it happened. A sudden movement. Not planned. Not slow. Not gentle. Her hands pushed forward. Maybe in anger. Maybe in fear. Maybe by impulse. But they touched my shoulders, and my body lost balance. I remember gasping. I remember my hands reaching out for something to hold. I remember Zara's face, shocked, surprised, scared, as she realized what she had done. Then, my foot slipped. My world tilted. The stairs came closer. Everything went quiet. Too quiet, as if time slowed down. And then, I fell. Not fast. Not harsh. Just helplessly. I slid down the steps on my back and sighed. My arms wrapped around my belly, protecting my baby with everything I had. My body hit the ground softly at the bottom. I heard my mother scream upstairs. Alina! I heard Zara gasp. Oh my God, what did I do? But their voices sounded far away, like they were in another world. My vision blurred. My breath felt tight. My hands held my stomach firmly. Please, please be okay, I whispered to my baby. I didn't care about the pain in my back. I didn't care about the shock. I only cared about the tiny life inside me. Mom ran down the stairs and knelt beside me, tears running down her face. Alina, can you hear me? Stay awake. I nodded weakly. I'm okay, I whispered. Just help me stand. Zara stood frozen at the top of the stairs. Her face was pale. Her hands were shaking. She looked like she wanted to come down but was too scared to move. She whispered in a broken voice. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. But I couldn't listen. My body was shaking. My heart was trembling. All I could do was hold my stomach and pray. Please, baby, please stay safe. Mom helped me outside. Dad brought the car. Everything moved fast. Voices, hands, running feet. Zara stood there silently, tears falling from her eyes. But nothing could undo what had happened. Because in one moment, her jealousy went too far. Too far to forget. Too far to ignore. And now, the doctor would tell me if my baby was still safe. The drive to the hospital felt like the longest ride of my life. My mother held my hand tightly, whispering prayers under her breath. My father kept telling me, stay awake, Alina, we're almost there. But inside me, everything was shaking. Not just my body, my heart, my fear, my thoughts. I kept touching my belly again and again, searching for any sign, any movement, anything that told me my baby was still there, still safe. When we reached the hospital, the nurses rushed me into a room. They checked my breathing, my blood pressure, and gently pressed on my stomach. A doctor entered quickly. What happened? She asked. I swallowed hard. I fell down the stairs. My mother stood behind me, crying silently. The doctor nodded and began the ultrasound. The cold gel touched my skin, and I closed my eyes. I held my breath. Then, after a few seconds, your baby is okay, the doctor said softly. I burst into tears. My mother cried too, holding my hand tightly. Thank God, I whispered again and again. The doctor smiled gently. You need rest, Alina. Your baby is strong. But please avoid stress. Stress. I almost laughed at that word. If only she knew what kind of storm I was living in. After the doctor left, Mom sat beside me. Alina, she said softly, you need to tell me the truth. Did Zara push you? I stayed silent. My eyes filled again. I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to accept that my own sister had done something so dangerous. But the truth was heavy. It sat on my chest like a stone. Finally, I nodded. A single tear rolled down Mom's cheek. She closed her eyes, as if the truth hurt her more than she expected. I knew it, she whispered. I saw her face. She was not herself. Before I could say anything, Dad entered the room, and behind him was Zara. Her face was pale. Her hair was messy. Her eyes were red from crying. She stood in the doorway like she didn't know if she was allowed to come inside. Alina, she whispered. I looked away. Zara took a shaky step toward the bed. Please, just listen to me, she begged. I didn't want to hurt you. I swear I didn't. Her voice cracked. I was angry. I was scared. I cut her off softly. You thought I betrayed you. She nodded, tears falling. I shook my head. My voice was weak, but clear. Zara, I never betrayed you. Not in my life. Not even in my thoughts. You are my sister. She covered her face and sobbed. I know, but I was so scared. My marriage is falling apart, Alina. He doesn't talk to me anymore. He leaves home early. He comes back late. I felt useless. I felt invisible. And then you were pregnant. And happy. And glowing. Her words broke something inside me. So you blamed me? I whispered. She nodded slowly. I didn't know what else to do. I thought, maybe he cared for you more. Maybe he liked you. Maybe. Her voice cracked again. Maybe the baby was his. My mother gasped. Zara, how can you say such things? Zara shook her head, crying harder. I know it was stupid. I know it was wrong. I didn't think. I just acted. And now I almost killed your baby. Silence filled the room. It hurt. All of it hurt. Her words. Her pain. Her fear. Her guilt. I closed my eyes, trying to breathe. You didn't lose the baby, I said softly. But you lost my trust. Zara collapsed into a chair, crying like a child. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. I looked at her. Really looked at her. She looked small. Broken. Lost. But sorry was not enough. Not now. Not after the stairs. Not after the fear. The doctor walked in again to check on me, and Zara quickly wiped her tears. But it didn't change anything. Everything had changed the moment I fell. And now, I had to decide what to do next. Where to go. Who to let in. Who to protect. Especially now, when I had a baby to think about. The next morning, the sunlight came into my hospital room softly. For the first time since the fall, my body felt calm. My mind, however, was still heavy. Ayan entered quietly with breakfast in his hands. His eyes were worried but gentle. How do you feel? He asked. I smiled weakly. Tired but okay. The baby is safe. He sat beside me and kissed my forehead. I was so scared, Alina. I thought I might lose both of you. His voice broke, and I realized he hadn't slept. He must have stayed awake all night, thinking about what could have happened. I held his hand. We're okay. We're here. He nodded, closing his eyes in relief. Soon my parents came too. But today, Zara was not with them. Mom sat down and said softly, Zara is at home. She hasn't stopped crying since yesterday. I stayed silent. Dad looked at me and spoke carefully. She wants to see you, but we told her she can come only if you want. The room felt still. Quiet. I thought about the Zara I grew up with, who held my hand when I was scared of the dark, who shared clothes with me, who protected me in school, who cried with me when our grandmother died. That sister, not the one from yesterday, not the jealous, hurting one. For a moment, I missed the old her. But then I remembered the stairs, the fall, the fear, the pain. Trust breaks so quickly and takes so long to rebuild. I'm not ready to see her, I whispered. Mom nodded sadly. It's okay. You don't have to. I took a deep breath and felt my baby move slightly. That tiny movement reminded me of something important. My first responsibility was now toward my child, toward peace, safety, stability, not toward someone who could harm me, even if that someone was my sister. Later that day, a nurse helped me out of bed and into a wheelchair. As she pushed me toward the exit, I saw Zara standing quietly near the hallway door. Her face was pale. Her hands were shaking. Her eyes were full of regret. "Alina," she whispered. I looked down. I couldn't speak. "I'm sorry," she said. "I'm so sorry. I will say it every day if I have to. I didn't mean to push you. I didn't mean to hurt the baby. I wasn't thinking." Her voice was small, broken. I finally looked up. "You hurt me, Zara," I said softly. "You hurt me deeply." She nodded. "I know, and I hate myself for it." A tear slipped down my cheek. "We can talk one day, maybe," I said slowly. "But right now I need space." Zara covered her mouth and cried silently. Ion began pushing my wheelchair again. As we moved past her, Zara whispered, "I will wait for you, Alina. I will change. I promise." I didn't answer. I just held my stomach and breathed slowly. When I reached home, everything felt different. Quieter, safer, more meaningful. Ion helped me lie down on the bed and placed his hand on my belly. "We're going to protect this baby," he said softly. "No more stress. No more pain." I nodded. "I'm done living in fear," I whispered. "I will not let jealousy destroy my peace again." Ion smiled gently. "We will build our own family, our own home, our own happiness." For the first time in many days, I felt hope blooming inside me. Not because everything was perfect, but because I finally understood something important. Sometimes family hurts you out of fear. Sometimes love becomes twisted by insecurity. Sometimes people break your heart even when they don't mean to. But healing starts when you choose peace over pain. When you choose boundaries over guilt. When you choose your baby, your happiness, your future. I touched my stomach softly. "I choose us," I whispered. And for the first time since the fall, I felt truly safe,